Cole Palmer could be one of several high-profile stars to make a dramatic switch this summer. The January window has closed with £404 million spent by Premier League clubs. Sign up for the Arsenal newsletter. Thank you. Several England stars could be on the move this summer. Credit AFP. But with several teams in need of improvement and many more players keen to progress, the summer window promises to be one to remember. There is set to be plenty of movement between Prem clubs, while the World Cup has the potential to elevate a rising star or two. Here, SunSport takes a look at 18 players who could be on the move when the transfer window reopens. Cole Palmer. SunSport revelaed the Chelsea superstar, 23, would be open to a transfer to boyhood club Manchester United. Read more in football. The Mancunian would welcome any interest from the Red Devils, who he supported as a kid, and is understood to be unsettled in London. He regularly visits his hometown, but it remains to be seen if Chelsea would sanction a transfer, having bought him for £42.5 million in September 2023. Cole Palmer has been sensationally linked to Man Utd. Credit, Getty. Mo Salah. Salah's future has been the subject of much speculation this season, despite signing a 2-year deal last April. The 33-year-old sensationally claimed he felt he had been thrown under the bus by Liverpool after being dropped in December, fueling talk he was off. Most read in football. Clubs in Saudi Arabia remain keen on the Egyptian, and Liverpool could look to cash in this summer. Mo Salah's future is up in the air. Credit Alamy. Adam Wharton. Real Madrid, United, Manchester City, Liverpool, take your pick. Adam Wharton, 21, has been heavily linked with a Crystal Palace exit ever since he arrived at Selhurst Park. He has 3 years left on his Palace contract, but they will struggle to keep him, particularly if he impresses at the World Cup. A rumored fee of £100 million has been mooted, and any transfer battle is likely to drive up that figure. Several huge clubs are circling around Adam Wharton. Credit Alamy. Vinicius Jr. The Magic Brazilian, 25, could make a sensational switch this summer, having failed to agree an extension of his Real Madrid contract, which runs until 2027. Chelsea were linked with a dramatic £135 million bid last month, and there will be no shortage of suitors if Real are open to his sale. Vinicius Jr.'s contract impasse with Real Madrid could see him leave. Credit Alamy. Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson, 23, is another England star tipped to make a blockbuster move. United are big admirers of the midfielder, and he would solve a key problem in the Red Devils side. However, it is far from a foregone conclusion he will arrive at Old Trafford this summer, with rivals City also monitoring his situation. Man Utd and City are battling to sign the England midfielder. Credit Shutterstock editorial. Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers, 23, is another player whose stock has risen dramatically in recent months. He has 5 years left on his Aston Villa deal, but that is unlikely to prevent clubs circling this summer, particularly if he impresses at the World Cup. An £80 million fee has been mooted, but do not be surprised if Champions League hopefuls Villa try and hold out for more. Morgan Rogers continues to impress and attract suitors. Credit. Getty. Marcus Rashford. United exile Marcus Rashford, 28, has enjoyed a successful loan spell at Barcelona this season. He leads the way in goal contributions in the Champions League with 5 goals and 4 assists. It is likely Barcelona will try and make his switch permanent for £25 million, but with their financial situation still uncertain, Rashford's future is still up in the air. Marcus Rashford's good form will likely lead to a permanent Barcelona deal. Credit. Getty. Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez has already made 2 high-profile moves in his short career, first to City and then on to Atletico Madrid. The Argentine has 11 goals this season and has caught the eye of Barcelona, who will be in need of a replacement for Robert Lewandowski. Arsenal could rival Barca for his signature and may be more willing to meet his £86 million asking price. Barcelona and Arsenal have been linked to Julian Alvarez. Credit. Getty. Sandro Tonali. Sandro Tonali had gone under the radar until deadline day, when Arsenal were tipped to make a dramatic late bid. It came after Mikel Merino was ruled out with injury, but Newcastle were adamant he would not be sold. That could all change this summer as Tonali continues to impress despite the Toon's woes this season. Sandro Tonali was dramatically linked with the deadline day switch to Arsenal. Credit. Getty. Carlos Baleba. United could look to solve their midfield problem by moving for Brighton star Carlos Baleba. He was linked with a move to Old Trafford last summer, but the Red Devils were put off by his £115 million asking price. Baleba still remains a firm target for United, with the 22-year-old previously stating he wants to play at the highest level. Man Utd could reignite their interest in Carlos Baleba. Credit. Alamy. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has had a standout campaign even by his lofty standards. United are benefiting from the loyalty he paid them last summer when he turned down an approach from Al Hilal despite a £200 million package being offered. However, that is unlikely to dim transfer interest in the summer, and Saudi clubs could be queuing up to make the Red Devils another £100 million offer. Bruno Fernandes almost moved to Saudi Arabia last summer. Credit. Getty. Bernardo Silva. The City icon is out of contract in the summer and expected to leave the Etihad after 9 years of service. The 31-year-old will have no shortage of suitors, with Galatasaray, Napoli and Juventus monitoring his position, along with clubs in Saudi Arabia. Bernardo Silva is set to leave Man City when his contract expires at the end of the season. Credit. Getty. Leon Goretzka. Talk of the Bayern Munich midfielder moving on to pastures new sprang into life towards the end of the January window. He has confirmed he will leave when his contract expires this summer and a Prem move beckons. Arsenal are said to be interested, as well as with Tottenham. Arsenal and Spurs will try and Leon Goretzka to North London. Credit. AFP. Savino. Tottenham have also been linked to City star Savino since last summer. The citizens wanted more than £60 million for the 21-year-old then, but with his game time dwindling it is likely he could move for less this year. Injury to the Brazilian prevented Spurs making a move in January, but with Thomas Frank's side in need of some attacking inspiration, do not be surprised if a deal is reignited. Tottenham could move back in for Savino after failing with the bid last summer. Credit, Getty. Jean-Philippe Mateta. The striker was all set for a deadline day move to AC Milan until he failed a medical. Mateta, 28, told Crystal Palace he wanted to leave in the winter window, leading several clubs to line up a move including Aston Villa. Juventus attempted a last-ditch bid following his failed Milan medical, but it came to nothing. However, he looked set to leave Selhurst Park in the summer. Mateta was set to join AC Milan before failing a medical. Credit, PA. Tino Livramento. Newcastle will be desperate to keep a hold of Tino Livramento, who has impressed when he has been injury-free this season. City have been linked to the fullback who could go to the World Cup with England this summer. Arsenal too are said to be interested, and a £60 million bid could be enough to lure him from St. James's Park. Tino Livramento has attracted interest from Arsenal and City. Credit, Getty. Rodrigo. Real Madrid may cash in on Rodrigo this summer after the Brazilian was linked with an exit last year. He has not pulled up any trees in the preceding months, and may be allowed to leave, with Arsenal, City and Liverpool all linked. Rodrigo could be on the move this summer. Credit, Getty. Ederson. There is a new Ederson in town, and this one is a midfield maestro, rather than a maverick between the sticks. Recommended stories. His impressive performances for Atalanta almost resulted in a £43 million move to Atletico in January. The La Liga giants could return this summer along with City and United. Ederson could move to Manchester after impressing for Atalanta. Credit, Getty.